Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by just the sheer noise of the modern world and kind of wish there was a step-by-step, no-nonsense manual for finding absolute mental focus, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're decoding an ancient Buddhist text called the Sekha Patipada Sutta. But hey, don't let the ancient origins fool you. This is a highly structured, incredibly logical blueprint for mastering the human mind. We're going to break down exactly how this text builds a foolproof foundation for peace and clarity that is completely applicable right now, today.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with a quick introduction to the sutta, then we'll move through the foundations of mental restraint, the 7 noble qualities, mastering the 4 jhanas, the brilliant incubating hen metaphor, and finally, the 3 supreme knowledges. Basically, think of this as climbing a logical staircase of spiritual development. We're starting with basic, everyday morality and climbing all the way up to enlightened, supreme knowledge. Let's jump in.
Section 1. Introduction to the Sutta and the context of this teaching.
So before we get into the actual steps, let's set the scene, because it's wonderfully human. We're in the ancient city of Kapilavatthu. The local rulers, the Sakyans, have just built a brand new assembly hall, and they invite the Buddha to be the very first person to use it. So the Buddha inaugurates the space, and he's teaching late into the night. But eventually he turns to his chief attendant, Ananda, and basically says, "My back is aching, I need to stretch it out." He literally lies down to rest in the mindful lion's posture and passes the mic over to Ananda. It's actually Ananda who delivers this incredible step-by-step path that we're about to explore.
The whole teaching centers around one key word, the Sikha. The Sikha is the learner, or a disciple in training. This isn't about someone who's already achieved perfection. It's about someone who is actively doing the work. And as we go through these practices today, I really invite you to see yourself as this learner. These steps are meant to be applied by all of us.
Section 2. Foundations of Mental Restraint, the Earthly Practices.
This is where we lay down the physical groundwork. You see, long before any deep meditation can happen, you have to look at how you interact with the world. The very first step of the blueprint is something called guarding the sense doors. If we leave our senses unguarded, like if we obsess over every single sight, sound, or idea that crosses our path, the text warns us that it leads straight to covetousness and grief. I mean, think about modern overstimulation, right? Endlessly scrolling through social media. The learner's antidote to that is guarded senses. It means you see a form or you hear a sound, but you don't instantly grasp at it or obsess over its features. You just observe it and move on. That is how you maintain inner peace.
Next up is a practice that definitely challenges our modern habits, moderation in eating. Let's be honest, we often eat for amusement, out of boredom, or for physical beauty. But the learner approaches this with a totally different mindset. They eat strictly to sustain the body, to heal the old pain of hunger, and to prevent the new pain of overeating from creeping in. It's eating as a pure, mindful utility. It supports the journey, ensuring the body is light and actually ready for the mental work ahead.
In that mental work, it requires some serious, relentless discipline. Just look at this daily routine for wakefulness. The learner is purifying their mind from mental hindrances while walking and sitting all throughout the day, and right into the first watch of the night. Even when they finally get to rest in the middle of the night, they do so completely mindfully, lying on their right side, holding the strong intention to wake back up. And in the final watch of the night, they're back at it, continuing the work. It is relentless. Absolutely beautiful dedication.
Section 3. The 7 noble qualities, or the inner arsenal.
Now we're shifting gears from that external physical discipline to building up a really robust internal psychological armory. These are the 7 qualities of a true person, known as the Sappurisa-Dhamma. You need faith, great learning, energy, mindfulness, and wisdom. But I want to pause and heavily emphasize points 2 and 3 here, hiri and attapa. These translate to moral shame and moral dread. Now sure, that might sound a bit harsh to our modern ears, but it's actually incredibly empowering. It means developing such a profound internal moral compass that you are naturally repelled by bad conduct. You aren't just avoiding doing wrong because you might get caught. You're avoiding it because your own internal standard of excellence simply won't allow it.
Section 4. Mastering the 4 jhanas, diving into the deep mind.
Once you've got that rock-solid moral foundation and your inner arsenal is fully stocked, it's time for the progressive ascent into deep meditative absorption. You literally can't just jump straight into enlightenment, you ascend step by step. In the first jhana, you withdraw from sensory desires, but you still have active thought paired with this feeling of rapture. By the second jhana, that active thought starts to fade into deep internal confidence. In the third, even the excitement of the rapture fades away into a very calm happiness. And finally, you reach the fourth jhana. I really want to underscore just how profound this shift is. This is a state of pure, unshakable equanimity and mindfulness. It is completely beyond pain and pleasure. This right here is the ultimate launchpad for the mind.
Which brings us to Section 5, the incubating hen metaphor. This is really the climax of the process. We have an unforgettable metaphor here that ties this entire blueprint perfectly together. The big question is this: once you've guarded your senses, moderated your eating, built up your noble qualities, and mastered your mind all the way to the fourth jhana, how does the actual breakthrough happen? How do you finally pierce that shell of ignorance?
You do it exactly like a mother hen incubating her eggs. The text says that if a hen properly sits on her eggs, warming them and incubating them perfectly, she doesn't need to sit there stressing, wishing, oh, I hope my chicks break through the shells with their little beaks and claws. Because she's done the foundational work, right? The hatching happens completely naturally. It's inevitable. And the exact same thing is true for the learner. You cannot force enlightenment. But if you perfectly set up all the conditions, the discipline, the morality, the meditation, your awakening will hatch entirely on its own.
Section 6. The Three Supreme Knowledges, the Ultimate Breakthrough.
So, let's see what happens when you finally break through that shell from the fourth jhana. It results in what are called the three supreme knowledges. First, the mind becomes so remarkably clear that the learner can recollect their past lives, actually tracing cause and effect across eons. Second, they attain the divine eye. This allows them to see exactly how karma governs the rise and fall of all beings, entirely based on their actions. And third, the ultimate goal. They achieve the complete destruction of all mental taints and impurities. They realize total liberation, right here and now. The training of the learner is officially complete.
The ultimate takeaway from this whole journey is this really profound universal truth that underpins all of these structured steps. Back in the ancient world, society was strictly divided by clan, lineage, and birthright. But this text, it radically redefines human value. It tells us that true supremacy doesn't come from who your parents are, it comes entirely from the work you do on your own mind, your perfect knowledge, and your virtuous conduct. I want to leave you with this powerful final quote. It was originally spoken by the deity Sanankumara Brahma and fully approved by the Buddha himself. In the community that still detests each other by clan, the one perfect in knowledge and conduct is supreme. You know, in a world that is still so eager to divide us and judge us based on external labels, the ultimate supremacy is simply mastering your own mind. So, I leave you with this question. What is one sense door that you can start guarding today to hatch your own inevitable awakening? Think about it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer.